It's the end of January, which means I've now been in Sweden for basically a whole month. And how's it going? I uprooted my life, I moved countries. What's it like? Well, short answer is I'm pretty happy. The fundamental big change is I'm currently still unemployed. I'm still trying to sort out my paperwork and job hunt, which means I've got a lot of free time. My previous job was busy, it was stressful, it really took it out of me teaching. Whereas now I've got time. I've got time for hobbies, I've got time for playing games, I've got time for this project, I've got time to cook interesting and creative stuff and enjoy the process of it rather than just like rush through it for the sake of getting some food in me. And that is a big luxury, and that's not like something to take for granted. I'm also lucky that it's not like super stressful to be in this position because I have savings and I got things like the deposit back from my old flat and tax refunds and little bits and bobs like that. So for now, I don't need to be too worried about money. Like, I do want an income, I do want to get a job, and that's one of the kind of little background pressures at the moment. But at the same time, I can enjoy this period and feel grateful for this period where my stress levels are low and I've got time for all of the rest of the things in my life that are not my career. Then I guess the downside, the thing that feels weird, it's kind of the flip side of the whole job thing I spoke about, is I'm used to having like this really strong sense of purpose, of something that I need to do, of something that like keeps pushing my life forward, where I'm being useful to other people, where I'm contributing. And I don't know, like, I'm useful to the Swedish Sambo. I make dinner for us and I keep the flat chores running. Obviously it's not just me, but I'm unemployed and I've got the time, so it makes sense to me to do more right now. But I don't have that sense of purpose, and there have been days where I felt like I might get bored or I just feel a bit aimless. But that's why I'm doing this, so I feel like this was a really good choice for me. This is helping for me to kind of structure my week and have goals to work towards and learn skills as well. And so I am like dealing with that. And so the other thing I don't have, of course, is externally imposed structure. Teaching has a lot of externally imposed structure. You do certain things at the same time every day, and that suited me quite well. So that's gone, but I am doing all right at creating structures for myself, having like lists of jobs I want to get done in a day. And then there's the big picture progress, right? Because I need to fully integrate here. I am partway through that process. I'll tell you more about it maybe when I get to the end of it and give you all the details of how it works and what the steps are. But I've got some of my registration things done. I've got an ID card on its way to me, and then that'll unlock a few doors and I'll be able to get to the point where I'm fully integrated and can fully use the Swedish system. As of yet, I can't access all the things I'd want to, and I really do want to get going on my Swedish for Immigrants language course. So fingers crossed I make it there in the next month or so. It is all just slow. I'm also lucky that I did plan ahead well enough in terms of my finances and organisation. I got myself a Mondo account a while ago because I knew I wouldn't be able to get a Swedish bank account for a while. So by getting that account, I get fee-free spending here, so I'm not like hesitant to spend money and to live my life. And I don't know how it would go if I got a job with a Swedish employer paying into that account. I don't know what they'd be like with that, but it is at least functional for now while I've got my savings. Not having a Swedish mobile number is inconvenient because, you know, if you've got an app or a service that wants to do a one-time code authentication, there are some that just, the text just never come through to my UK number. Whatever I do with the country code, I'm pretty sure I'm doing it right, but there are some that just either don't have the option, they won't accept a non-Swedish number, or it doesn't work properly. The really obvious big upside of being here, I get to see Swedish Sambo every day. My Sambo, my partner, lives with me now. When we were long distance, it used to be that we'd travel to see each other as often as we could. When I was teaching, that meant it was school holidays. So that was nice in that it was like regularly spaced out and reliable, roughly 6 times a year. And those 6 visits, sometimes they were like 3-4 days. In the summer, it could be up to 3 or 4 weeks. And they were great, but there was always this looming feeling of, we're gonna run out of time. There was always just that background awareness that the days are ticking down until I've got to go again, or until they've got to leave London and go back to Sweden. and then we'll be apart again, and then we'll be counting the months until we get to see each other, and I never have to feel that again. I can just wake up every morning with my Sambo here. We can share our meals and our lives and all the little everyday things with no looming sense of running out of time. God, that's lovely. To just be relaxed, to just be able to live our everyday lives and enjoy things and plan fun things, but without pressure to cram it all in. It feels so good. Then as well, because I've got the extra time and energy from not doing my old job, and because Swedish Sambo's here with me as well, I think I've had some really good bits of socialising. Before in London, in my tiny little studio flat, there was space for 2 people comfortably. 3 people got to be a bit of a squash. 4 people was kind of a no-go, just based on the number of chairs and sofa space. Whereas here, like, we've got a good big dining table, we've got a sofa, and so we've been able to really enjoy hosting. It's not perfect yet, so because I'm still waiting for my shipment of furniture, we don't have our full like living room. We only have sofa space for 3 people, for example, which means that if we have a bigger group, we're basically at the dining table. But still, because I've got that time and that energy, I can create fun experiences, I can feed people, and it's really nice. I've done more baking this last month than I had in all of 2023. I really enjoy it. I like food, I like eating, and I like the process of baking and seeing and peeking through the oven door. And it's been like a good excuse to have friends around as well. Hey, I'm gonna bake this, that, the other. Like I said about my afternoon tea last weekend. It's really nice. And then where I live, so I've shown you views out in the snow. Across the road from us is a little woods. There's a big patch of grass by us as well. We aren't like immediately overlooked by more houses. There is a road that goes by us, but it's only really the access road for these bits of housing. It doesn't go anywhere, so it is quite quiet. And yes, there's car parking for our flats, but again, it's not that busy. There are plenty of people like us who don't drive and who commute on the buses and trains and that. And oh, it's so much nicer than where I used to be. So much less pollution, so much less road noise. And like, with the weather, I'm not exactly going out for a walk in the woods every day. Hold up for a second, because as I'm sitting editing, it turns out to be actually really beautiful out here today. We've got actual sunshine, actual blue sky. And so, I think I'm gonna go on a walk. I think I'm gonna head out to the woods and just go wander around a bit and enjoy this, because much as I like the snow and much as I'm used to grey and cold and rainy, a bit of winter sun makes everything better. Well, my plan for a walk in the woods has kind of been foiled because there's been a lot of meltage, but it is still definitely icy here, and there is not a single bit of gravel or sand or grit or anything here, so it is just crazy slippy, like the worst I've walked on, and I do not like it. So I'm not going to go any further this way, but I'm still out in the sun. Instead, I'll go for a wander through the housing estates, but I probably won't film there because, you know, that's people's homes. So, oh well, we'll have to wait until spring, but I will still enjoy being out and about here, just somewhere which isn't quite as unfriendly to walkers. There are so many birds singing. More than I've heard in a long time, and I know spring isn't coming yet, it's way too early, but it feels possible today. I'm really glad I came out. With the weather, I'm not exactly going out for a walk in the woods every day, but just seeing it out the window and knowing it's there, it feels peaceful. And I don't know if we'll always live somewhere like this in Stockholm. Like, it's less convenient for commuting, but right now I'm really enjoying it. Given I'm home so much, it's lovely to be somewhere where I feel like my surroundings suit me and my surroundings soothe me, and it's a really good place to be. But like I said, with the weather, I'm not out and about so much. The snow is gorgeous, like when it's fresh snow it's beautiful, and I really enjoy walking, crunching in it. But then when it melts a little bit and it ices up, then I really don't like being outside. But it is okay because like good insulation is the norm here. In London, I lived in so many places that were single glazed, or so many places that didn't have adequate insulation under the floors, so the floors felt cold, or where you just, like, as soon as the heating turned off you felt the temperature drop. But here, double and triple glazing are completely the norm, and the standard of insulation, I mean, I guess it has to be, doesn't it? You can't live in this country without good insulation. I don't have to deal with being cold inside, which was quite a regular thing back in the UK, that I would have to like layer up and have my jumper on and a layer underneath my top, and that just doesn't happen here. You just don't go into a building where it's not adequately warm and insulated. So even when the weather is putting me off being out and about, like day-to-day experience is comfortable. The standard here is just a whole bunch better than it is in the UK. And we'll see about the summer. Like, the summers don't get as hot here, but I think it'll also help with summer cooling. I think it'll also mean that when it's roasting hot outside, it's tolerable in here. But I guess the big thing you might guess about somebody who's just moved countries is that they'd be homesick. And I don't think I am. It helped that I already knew this place really well. I'd spent many weeks here over the time that Swedish Sambo has lived here. I'd had some of my stuff that had been left here. I'd helped choose some of the furnishings and decorate bits and bobs. We went second-hand shopping to find some of our decorations. We ordered our coffee table and sofa and dining table second-hand online. We've done IKEA trips. I've helped shape this place. So even though I hadn't been living here and paying rent here, it did feel connected to me, and so coming here has felt quite natural. It also helps that, as I've said before, it's an awful lot nicer than my last home. My London flat was not anywhere near as comfortable to live in as this, as spacious, as well insulated, like I said, and that means I've got less to miss, I guess. I do miss people. There are people who I used to see every day, every week, who it feels weird to not see. But equally back then I was missing Swedish Sambo all the time, and now I'm here with them. So downsides, upsides, I wouldn't say overall I feel like I'm homesick, I'm longing to be back there. I do feel like this is where I want to be. But yeah, I guess I knew what I was getting into. This was a well thought out decision. It had been a long time coming. Like, if you look back at my video about the whole migration process, you know how long I've been waiting for this. So that's helped it feel quite smooth and quite manageable, and like it's a long-term sustainable thing. I've got steps to get through to really be settled into my life here, but I'll get there. I know I will, and I've got the support to do that. So I'm really lucky.